up, ladies and gentlemen, because we are going to the NBA Finals. Somehow, the Mavericks have just done it again. And it's starting to become very frustrating to watch as a Timberwolves fan because you know exactly why they keep losing. And sadly, we can start with the obvious, Anthony Edwards. I don't think we have ever seen Anthony Edwards so goddamn tired in his entire career. Like, seriously, we're seeing moments where he's struggling to get to the other side of the court, or he's walking in transition. He's not the main ball handler when there's no one else out on the court that is a ball handler. Like, it's starting to become very obvious that he is exhausted. Now, we could say that's because of Kyrie on both the offensive and defensive ends. I mean, he runs around a lot. Or we could say it's because Edwards has never played this many games in his NBA career before, and it's starting to become a lot physically for him. Me personally, I think it's because of Kyrie, but I've seen both arguments be made. But he's starting to become so exhausted that in game 2, the game that we saw yesterday or today, whenever you're watching this, he had to actually get oxygen. I mean, we're talking Matthew Dellavedova type shit. Now, he did deny it when talking about it in his post-game interview, but it's not that surprising if he were to lie about something like that, like lie and say that he didn't get that.
Did you have to get oxygen at one point, though?
Nah, I was good today.
But and being tired and not being able to get back on defense or offense quickly isn't that big of a problem. Obviously, it is a problem, but it's not too crazy. The one problem that I have with it, though, is that it's causing him to settle for threes. Something that we have seen now time and time again in these games, and it's becoming so frustrating to watch because you know he's exhausted, and that's why he is throwing up those threes. It's not because he actually has a good look or he thinks he's going to make it. It's because he doesn't want to drive into the paint. And when he does drive into the paint, oh my God, okay, this is my biggest problem I've had. He kicks it out every fucking time. It is actually starting to take a mental toll on me. Every time I see Ant drive into the paint, I go, let's go. We're seeing him get downhill. This is the Anthony Edwards that can win these games. Boom, kicks it out. And I understand if you're in a game like this where Naz Reid is playing like a goddamn god, maybe that's the decision that you make, right? Naz Reid was shooting great from downtown, was always ready for the ball, and wasn't only doing it on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end as well, doing great at guarding the lob threats of Derek Lively and Gafford, which I really want to expand on heavily here in a bit. But you know that Naz Reid is playing good when they're giving him the ball for the game-winning shot attempt, another thing that we will be going back and looking at here in a minute. And actually, speaking about the end of the game, Naz Reid was playing so good that Karl Anthony Towns didn't even play in the fourth quarter. He actually played 3 minutes, but he barely played any in the fourth quarter. Now, we could say that's because Naz Reid was playing really good, and we can also say it's because Cat was playing like absolute horseshit. But for Cat, I actually hope he takes this personally. You are the number 2 guy on this team. You are one of the biggest assets and biggest factors on this Timberwolves team. You can't be okay with sitting on the bench the entire fourth quarter. That's something that has to fire you up come next game. You got to go out there, start hitting your threes, and really play your game. And I know I'm sitting here talking like a doomer, but in reality, the Timberwolves actually had a huge lead throughout a majority of this game. But it's those fucking Mavericks that just, they're ridiculous. No lead is ever safe in the NBA, especially when you're going up against one of the best backcourt duos in NBA history. Because Luka Doncic was playing like Luka Doncic. I mean, it's not even surprising. I don't really know how much I could say. He's gonna find his spots. He's gonna knock down those shots that just make you question how it even happens. It was actually the second half of the backcourt duo, Kyrie Irving, that wasn't playing good at all. I mean, basically a non-factor for a majority of the game until the fourth quarter, and maybe the third quarter, when he knocked down this 1-3, which was actually his first 3 in the entire series. That's when things started to activate for Kyrie Irving, and is the reason why the Mavericks were able to come back and win this game, or at least put themselves in a situation where they can win the game, because Kyrie ended this game with 4 made threes. Once again, he didn't score a single 3 in their last game of the series, and now he scores 4 of them, with one of them being so crucial because he had missed 2 free throws the play right before it. But I'm gonna say right now, I don't care if Luka Doncic is playing like a goddamn highlight reel. I don't care if Kyrie Irving turns into Stephen Curry and starts knocking down threes left, right, center. The reason why the Dallas Mavericks are winning these games and why they're in the situation they're in right now is because of Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively II. The lob threat that they have been able to provide for this Mavericks team is so understated. It's not going to be talked about nearly as much as it should. It's truly the reason why they are here, why they are in the situation they're in right now. And it's also one of the reasons why I think the Timberwolves are actually going to lose this series, because when the Timberwolves were matched up against the Nuggets, one of the biggest problems that they had was guarding the Aaron Gordon dunker spot, something that is of course the Nuggets bread and butter. And even though the Wolves have 2 big men, one of them being defensive player of the year, it was still very hard for them to guard that lob threat of Aaron Gordon. And then in this series, you double that and say, okay, now there's 2 lob threats, and they're arguably more flexible and agile than Aaron Gordon is when just sitting in the dunker spot. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, right? This game was close. It came down to a Luka Doncic game-winning 3. Anthony Edwards didn't play good. Karl Anthony Towns didn't play good. So So maybe they come back in their next game and play their brand of basketball, the Timberwolves basketball that got them to this moment, and they're able to maybe take a game or two in Dallas. Well, I'm actually going to counter that and say that PJ Washington didn't play good at all. We're talking about one of the biggest three-point threats on this Dallas Mavericks team, one of the biggest key factors that they have made on their roster overall and in this playoff run. He didn't play good. He had a solid game. He did get some points up, but he didn't play the games that we have seen him play before, and he actually went, I think, 0 for 4 from 3. But let's just go ahead and skip to the last shot of the game. And no, not the Luka Doncic game winner. I'm talking about the last attempt from the Timberwolves. Okay, I'm gonna pause it right here and say, I understand that Naz Reid has been on fire this entire game. I understand. There's a reason why Cat is on the bench. We went over it before. He's on fire from deep. That makes sense. So we got that down, right? Play the video.
Setting up. 3, Reid. No! Dallas has won.
This ball shouldn't have gone to anyone but Anthony Edwards. I don't care if he hasn't been shooting good. I don't care if Naz Reid has the hot hand. Anthony Edwards needs to take this ball and drive into the paint. You're down by 1 goddamn point. You don't need a Naz Reid 3 attempt to win you the game. You drive to the basket every single time, and they fail to do so. And that's why, in my opinion, they lost this game. But this game and series aside, I want to talk about one of the biggest problems I've been having with, I guess, the NBA in general. Inside the NBA, as we all know, is going to have its last ever season next year, and there's no doubt it's very sad to see, right? Such a historic, funny, all these great moments. You know, it's our favorite post-game or maybe even NBA show of all time. But oh my god, if I have to watch one more post-game show with Draymond Green, I'm going to shoot my... I'm not even a Draymond Green hater. I understand I'm a Kings fan. You know, he stomped on Sabonis. I don't care about any of that. I like Draymond Green, but oh my fucking god, this Rudy Gobert hating is getting out of hand. Luka Doncic, the best player in the NBA, hit a crazy 3 over someone who has won Defensive Player of the Year. Did Rudy Gobert win Defensive Player of the Year by guarding guards out on the perimeter? No. Oh my... I'm sorry. I just had to get something out because I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. I hope I'm not the only one that feels that way about Draymond Green and the Inside the NBA crew. It really does suck because you see Kenny like trying to talk to him and say like, yo, can you kind of stop hating a little bit? And Charles Barkley and Draymond just keep on dogging each other and talking about how Rudy Gobert sucks, Minnesota's over, whatever. Anyways, I don't want to complain too much, but I do hope someone watching this video agrees with me and can relate in a sense that Draymond Green has ruined this show, and it really fucking sucks to see, and I really hope they don't do that next year when it's literally the last time we will ever see them together. That being said, hope you guys all enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe, and if you see a video up on the screen right now, apparently YouTube thinks that you would really enjoy it, so I don't see how they could be wrong. I would click it if I were you, but hey, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. All right, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Later.